Police, Capitol Hill Police, and in a special way to all the people of Washington. In this time where many are affected by the visit, I'm very grateful that they've provided such a warm and hospitable welcome to our Holy Father, His Holiness, and very grateful for that today, and anticipate more in the coming days. I also want to express thanks for the staff and the volunteers of the Archdiocese of Washington, the USCCB, the Shrine, and the Catholic University of America for all that they've done to help pull everything together. So I start with these remarks speaking about thanks. I've always been taught to begin any endeavor with a sense of gratitude for blessings, even as we ask for blessings upon the activities to come. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now take questions from the media. To indicate that you have a question, please raise your hand and our staff will guide you to the microphones. When you're at the microphone, please give us your name, the name of the outlet you represent, and to whom you're addressing the question. Okay.
Hello, my name is Michelle Borstein from the Washington Post. Welcome. I wanted to clarify something that was quoted from the plane for those of us who weren't there. Obviously, you know there'll be a lot of interest in this comment, which is the Pope talking a little bit about whether or not he is a little bit to the left. Can you explain a little bit about what he was asked and what he meant? It sounded like he was asked in some context about economics. Could you just clarify a little bit more about what was said?
Yes, I think that he has answered the question that already in other times and occasion was done, and the center of his answer is I have never said something anything less or more than what is in the social teaching of the Church. It is I am in this line, in this tradition. I have not said something that is more left or more right than what is in the compendium of the social doctrine of the Church, and I think obviously that this is true. And he also recalled an answer he has given to someone that asked him after the speech to the popular movement in Bolivia, and they said to him, you are proposing directions in the engagement of the social service in the Church and so on. Do you think that the Church will follow you? And then he said, no, the Church has not to follow me. I am following the Church. It is, I am following what the tradition of the Church is in the social teaching. And this is what I am doing. Obviously, there are many people that have not known maybe in the complexity and the richness of this teaching of the Church and have interpreted it in a limited way. But the Pope has stressed that he is in this clear tradition. Obviously, as we know, he has always stressed very much the theme of the solidarity of the. He uses also maybe some expressions that are characteristic for him. He speaks now from social friendship, in the sense that this solidarity and this attention to the order in building together the society is something that has to do with the friendship, with human relations, with concrete relation among persons. And maybe this is something characteristic that he has to classical, theoretical presentation of the social thinking of the Church. Or I think that also in the last encyclica he has developed the church teaching, church social teaching, addressing in particular new question of the world of today, like the yes, the environment crisis and so on, that are now more crucial maybe as in the past, but always in the direction of the tradition of the teaching of the Church. This is what he has stressed again today during this little conversation, I think.
Thank you.
My name is Irina Gilevska. I'm correspondent for the Macedonian TV here in Washington, D.C. Father Lombardi, this is a question for you. You probably know that Macedonia is the land of Mother Teresa. Can you tell us whether the Pope plans to visit Macedonia?
The Pope has not yet a clear agenda of the visit for the next years that is known or public, and I think there is no fixed agenda. The only trip that are already clear and decided are Africa in November and Krakow for the World Youth Day in the next year. Other trips are not decided. But it is interesting what you say, because we have seen that that the Pope for the visit in Europe has chosen as first Albania and then Bosnia-Herzegovina, Sarajevo, and then there are two in the Balkans Peninsula as Macedonia. And then the Pope has a particular attention to this region, I think, and therefore I cannot exclude that he in the future will be attentive to this request. But actually there is no project of a visit to Macedonia.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Gretchen Crow, our Sunday visitor. Father Lombardi, the World Meeting of Families began today in Philadelphia, and Pope Francis mentioned this morning in his meeting with families, he asked everyone to pray for the World Meeting and for the upcoming Synod. So I'm just wondering, how will the Holy Father be monitoring the events in Philadelphia throughout the week, and how will he be emphasizing family life while he's in the United States? Thank you.
Yes, I think he is surely very interested. As you know, the first decision of this visit to the United States was due to the World Families Day in Philadelphia, before the invitation to the Congress, before the invitation to the United Nations Assembly, and then therefore is surely very, very important for him. And it is, we have to see it, this participation of the Pope to this World Family Day in the context also of the Synod, the past Synod and the next Synod, the Synod on the Family, that will begin exactly 1 week after the conclusion of the World Family Day. And the encounter of with the families this morning in Santiago de Cuba, I think was decided exactly to stress a continuity of the visit in Cuba with the visit in the United States. And I think that the speech that the Pope has given this morning for the family in Santiago is really precious, really very, very wonderful, and very interesting. I think you have to read it and to take it as a document also for the meeting in Philadelphia. I think the Pope is informed of what happens, and he will follow also in these days, the first days of the meeting. But he will come then at the end with his contribution with all his heart, obviously. But the intensity of the homily of this morning was for me very, very impressive. It's really characteristic of his way to appreciate the importance of the family as formation of the humanity and in many, many concrete aspects. I counsel you really to read the text because it's fantastic.
Thank you.
Your Eminencies, good afternoon. Muy buenas tardes. Bienvenido a Estados Unidos, Padre Lombardi. La pregunta mía es la siguiente. Sin duda que la visita del Papa Francisco a Cuba fue histórica, pero mi pregunta es, ¿el Vaticano, ustedes, el Papa Francisco, está al tanto de antes de la llegada de él a La Habana, hubo golpizas, hubo arrestos? ¿Están al tanto de la represión en Cuba?
I think that there are information that arrive to the Vatican and to the Pope, and there is a nuncio in Cuba that follows what happens, and then in this sense there are information. There was also the information of 3,000 and more people that were freed in these days as a sign of goodwill, I think, in the preparation of this visit. In this sense, the situation may be with ambiguous signs. But yes, there is a awareness of the problems, and therefore, three popes have traveled to Cuba and have given an important contribution for the to help the church to be alive in a difficult situation and to encourage it to be a contribution for the renewal and of a society. And I think that is really an institution that can help and to move forward and to change and to promote creativity in the direction of the development of a society of participation, of freedom, and of dialogue and reconciliation. And in this sense, if you listen really well to the speech of the Pope in Cuba, you find several clear references to this encouragement of the Pope to go forward in this direction. And the Pope is always aware that he has a particular, a specific responsibility that is moral and religious and not directly political, but he stresses always that from the faith everyone has to develop his responsibility and his creativity to contribute to the well-being of the society. In this sense, I think the popes have given a contribution, and I think that we are also witness that something is happening exactly with this renewal of contacts now between Cuba and the United States. Otherwise, we would not have also this new element with us. And I think that the Pope had decided to have this trip from Cuba to the United States, also to stress this situation and to encourage progress in this direction.
Thank you.
Okay, so my name is Angela. I'm from Radio Maria España, and my question is addressed to Father Lombardi. So you mentioned before that the Pope came in a humble attitude to receive. And so what is he really expecting to receive from America? Thanks.
We will listen to what the Pope says in his speech. Normally, I am not a prophet, and I am always encouraging to listen. The Pope will have many interesting speeches, and I think that he will also express appreciation for the history of the American nation and of the American church, the church in the USA. And if the Pope expresses appreciation, it means that he thinks that he and the Universal Church receives an exchange of gifts also from the American people and faithful. And in this sense, there is really an impressive work of charity, of education, and I think that you would know better than I also these positive aspects that are here. And this is surely a important contribution for the problem of the world of today and of the life of the church. I think that the question that we have to address is a question of responsibility. In this land, there is a great power of the intelligence, of the science, of the reflection, of the economy, and the many aspects of creativity in the enterprises. And this can help very, very much the progress if it is put to the service of the common good, to the service of the people that are poor or in difficult situation, of the lands that are more poor than others. In this sense, I think the Pope appeals surely the richness that are of resources and of good resources that are here to be put at the service of the common good of the mankind.
Thank you.
Hi, it's to Father Lombardi. I'm Cláudia Trevisan from the Brazilian newspaper, O Estado de São Paulo. I'd like to know if we are going to see at some point of the trip the Pope defend the end of the U.S. economic embargo on Cuba. And also, what are going to be the main topics of the conversation that he will have with President Obama tomorrow? Thank you.
Well, as I have said, I am not a prophet in the sense that I don't anticipate what has to happen and what the Pope has to say about the problem of the embargo. I think that the Pope in the plane has done a little reference to this, saying that he will not address specifically this point in his speech. This does not mean that he does not address the process of renewal of the relation, but not concretely the point of the embargo, I think. Also because there are now, come si dice, trattative fra gli Stati Uniti e la Cuba. Treaties. Yes, there are contacts and bilateral contacts to solve problems. In the sense, the Pope does not propose particular concrete policies or solutions. It is to the dialogue, but he encourages always the process altogether. But he has also recalled, as I have recalled many times, that the position of the Church, of the Catholic Church, and of the popes, of the past popes, about the question of embargo is clear. They have criticized this clearly as a source of suffering for the people. And then this is already said by the predecessor of Pope Francis, and it is a clear position of the Church, criticism too about the embargo. But it is not said that he will address this specifically in the next days.
Thank you. Mario Platero, Il Sole 24 Ore, a daily in Italy. I'd like to go back to the question of capitalism. Father Lombardi, thank you for your answer before. Indeed, the Church has been sort of stuck in a doctrine for a while that has not been considered by many in favor of capitalism, and the Church in general. But I wonder what the American Church thinks about those positions. We've read several opinions that were worried about calling and defining capitalism as the devil or a culture of idols. I'm not sure whether 80 million of American Catholics would think the same thing. And I'd like to hear also, if possible, from Cardinal DiNardo what his position or the American bishops are with some positions that have been considered by some extremes, and also from Father Lombardi, of course. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, no, my commentary is that I think that the sense of a briefing is not to discuss the contents of the doctrine in particular. This is to give information and a short answer about what will happen. And these questions are obviously addressed also in the content of the speech and of the document of the Pope. We can read and study the Laudato Si and not give now a substantial answer to your question. But yes, as I have said, the Pope stresses that he is in the line of the tradition of the social doctrine of the Church. He thinks it is not driving in a bad direction a substantial tradition in this sense.
Thank you for your question. There is no, it certainly is true that the United States is a place of intense financial investment, finance, economics. We have New York City as like a symbol, I think, when it comes to that. The United States is not monochromatic, however, in its appreciations and understanding of the various things that happen in the economy. The bishops of the United States have always pointed out that what we deal with in the marketplace is important, but we can never lose sight of the human person and what happens in the human person and how we deal with the poor or those who are looking for a better life, the disparity at times between the rich and the poor. We may not be as angular in that sense of stating matters as might be true maybe in some other countries, but we've always been aware of the poor and the importance of the financial community, to sense that working and helping those who are poor to have a decent wage, decent living across the boards is good for the economy. It's not bad. We're not economists per se, but that's, to my mind, the United States in many ways, in its culture and its finances and its mode of governing, has a lot of tensile strength, and it tends, as I say, not to be as monochromatic as sometimes people present it. It goes in waves. And the bishops of the United States, I think, are very intent that we be mindful, particularly in our culture today where there are such incredible growing disparities of rich and poor, of this issue, without necessarily going into all the details. At least I myself do not feel overly competent beyond going on those general but I think important statements.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Lee Oberhori, and I'm a reporter with the Medill National Security Journalism Initiative out of Northwestern University. And my question is for Father Lombardi. Earlier in the press conference, you had stressed the Holy Father's desire to communicate the idea of peace. So on that note, and seeing as how he's about to speak with both President Obama and the Congress, I was wondering if you could comment as to whether the Holy Father plans on addressing the issue of American involvement in Iran, Syria, or Iraq in any way. Thank you.
Yes, as I have said before, you have to listen what the Pope will say. I have not to anticipate what the Pope will say. And then otherwise there is no surprise, there is no interest. And then please listen and you will see which problem he will address explicitly, which problem he will address not so explicitly, but are addressed, and so on. It will be very interesting.
I think we have time for one more question.
Hi, this is Victor Ramos. I'm a reporter with Newsday, New York. It's another anticipatory question in a way. I know you can't dwell on specifics, but can you tell us maybe what are the top issues on the agenda of the Pope? There's been talk about immigration, about furthering the agenda of the encyclical on the environment, about the economy's impact on the poor. Are we getting it right in predicting that those are the top issues? And if I may just throw in a simple question, can you tell us a little bit about the exchange today between the Pope and President Obama when they met?
Well, I think that if we take together the address to the Congress and the address to the United States, we will find really a lot of issues, United Nations, excuse me, a lot of issues, and I think it is rather obvious that also in the address to the United Nations, the question of the environment and of the address of the immigration will come. This is clear. There are such a fundamental question of today that this is not possible that the Pope comes and speaks, I don't know about what, and this, obviously he will speak about also about the environment and about immigration. We will see how and when and in which terms, but it is clear that he will speak about this. Obviously, I think that Laudato Si, this important encyclica, is actually a basis of reference of many speeches, of many addresses of the Pope. And then if you read the encyclica, you find the wide range of question of today, and you find all what you have mentioned. And in a particular synthesis, I think this is wonderful of this encyclica, that this equilibrium of synthesis and of the different aspects of the environment and the social crisis and the economy and so on. This is really wonderful. And you will find many echoes of these aspects also in the speech of the Pope in the next days. And for the meeting with President Obama, I don't know. Normally these encounter are also private, have a private dimension. And I have seen this in a characteristic way in this pontificate, because the Pope Francis has a charisma in the personal encounter with other persons, also big political leaders. And he approached the other as a concrete person, not so much as a political leader that has a particular ideology, or I don't know, but is a concrete person and meets this person, and the person meets a pope as a concrete man. This is something wonderful, and very often this is another way to approach the big question and to find ways to solve something. If you have got a personal approach and a personal feeling and sympathy that helps to understand maybe the credibility and the sincerity of the other. In this sense, I think every leader that has a meeting with the Pope does this experience, a personal encounter. I think this is maybe more important, if I can say, than an agenda of points that I could indicate. They will speak, they will talk about something, this is obvious. But what is more important is not the conceptuality, I think, of the conversation, of the talks, but the personal encounter and the appreciation of the personality of the other. That can be the premise to obtain good result also in the following times. Why can a person as the Pope send a letter to someone proposing to do something new? Because he has built a personal relation that can be the premise for him to ask or to propose something new to happen. I don't know if this is clear. Well.
Thank you. Thank you, Father Lombardi. I know we have many more questions, but we will have the opportunity for another briefing tomorrow after the Mass of Canonization at approximately 8 p.m. Father Lombardi's graciously agreed to be with us again. He'll be joined by Archbishop Joseph Kurtz, who's the president of the USCCB. A couple of other housekeeping notes. Please remember that the text of the speeches will be posted at media.uspapalvisit.org. When the Vatican releases those, we will have those available online. We are not distributing paper copies in the press room, so they will be available to you digitally. And secondly, just again, a housekeeping note. We are continuing to distribute credentials tomorrow here at the Union Station Room. If colleagues have yet to pick up their credentials, they need to do that tomorrow. We will not be distributing credentials on Thursday. That is a change in the initial program that we had released. So thank you all for your time, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, I'm sorry, Your Honor. In the name of the Bishops' Conference of the United States, thanks to all of you, but we are asking for blessings today upon the Jewish community. This is the day of Yom Kippur. We pray for them in this day of atonement that the Lord will continue to bless them.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.